And Jesus goes to Matthew at his tax collector's booth. Now, this is important. I don't want to compare Matthew's profession to any profession today, because then we might look down on another profession. But in their culture, they had these tax collectors that sat at booths. And the tax collectors were Jewish. So they were Jewish people, but they were representing the Roman Empire. So the Romans are collecting taxes from the Jews. The tax collectors are Jews who've been hired by Romans, which means that all the Jewish people didn't like the tax collectors. They had a reputation for being liars, cheaters. They would steal. These are the kind of guys that after work, like they're hanging out, tax collector conversation. You should have seen what I did today to Joe. I doubled his taxes. I told him if he didn't pay me today, I'd take away his cat. Well, actually, I didn't say cat because he wouldn't care, but I told him I'd take away his dog. Slip that in for you right there. But these guys, they had a reputation of constantly taking. And Jesus goes to where Matthew is, the tax collector. And when he sees Matthew, he looks at him and he says, "Follow me." And Levi got up, left everything, and followed Jesus. Now, the first component we see from Jesus, to become a friend like Jesus, I must become the kind of person that goes to them, goes to people where they are. And in parentheses, you might write next to this, place, the place where people are. People live their lives, they work, they play, they go to school, and followers of Jesus and good friends go to where people are to bridge friendship, to build friendship. So often we want good friends. Raise your hand if you want good friends, just out of curiosity. Almost everybody's got their hands up. If you don't, that's okay. God bless you. One day maybe you'll want to be a good friend. But the natural tendency, isn't it true that we want people to build friendships with us? Like, I want you to think about my birthday. I want you to do nice stuff for me. And when we flip the mindset to say, how did Jesus build friendship? Jesus went to where people were. He came to us. In fact, the whole message of the gospel, the whole message of Jesus is God came to us. God left the glory and comfort of heaven, took on human skin, lived among us for 33 years, died on a cross, rose again from the dead after paying the price for our sin. After living a sinless life, Jesus made a way so that we can have friendship with God. He is the truest, greatest friend that any human being can ever have. And he models for us friendship by going to the place where people lived, where they played, and where they worked. In fact, I want you to see this diagram. This is so helpful to think of your life where you live, where you work, and where you play. Now, some of us, we're all live and work, no play. There's a little book that used to go like, all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy. Somebody told me after my sermon yesterday, there's a Shining reference in there. I don't know. I don't watch bad movies. But for all of us, we live, we work, and hopefully we have hobbies and we play. And when you think about your life, it's good to think about your life intentionally. Where do you live? Where do you work? Where do you play? God has you on a street, in a neighborhood, in an apartment complex. God has you where you are for a reason. God has you at your place of work or your school for a purpose. And going, this is important, going is often as simple as being a bit more intentional where you are. It's often as simple as where you are already living your life. Sometimes when it comes to influence or difference, we feel this weight, like, oh gosh, I have to go door to door in my neighborhood. I have to figure out a way to spin every conversation and turn it to Jesus and spiritual things. But Jesus, he modeled for us friendship by becoming the kind of person that would do life with people where they lived, where they worked, and where they played.